critical illness, regardless of the etiology. It was an alteration in autonomic nervous system. This is every chronic critical disease. When we look at this, comprehensive physiology, further understanding the regulatory mechanism linking the sympathetic and parasympathetic and its immune system is critical for understanding relationships between chronic disease development and immune system autonomic nervous system function changes. Wow! It's the autonomic adaptation. It's that stress. So that's the key. So we don't need to be afraid of everyone, mask everyone, lock children in their rooms, separate them by 6 foot, totally destroy their perception of the reality. We are going to lose a generation. This is how the immune system works. Macrophages, main immune system cell, it's connected directly. This means that if your brain perceives an assault that this macrophage can go after, that macrophage is released. We are under physical, chemical, emotional stress. The weird thing is that your brain can't differentiate, that you're going to have the similar response to physical, chemical, and emotional stress. Cambridge.org, they went in and they thought, gee, the lockdowns, separating healthy people, quarantining healthy people, wiping out the economy. Now, last week we talked about 831,000 deaths of despair that they're estimating, looking at hundreds of thousands of children around the world from the lockdowns dying. So Cambridge University decides to think, okay, should we shut down? Was that a good decision, or should they rethink it? Evidence suggests that the cost of continuing severe restrictions in the UK are large relative to likely benefits, so that a substantial easing in general restrictions in favor of more targeted measures is warranted. There's a need to normalize how we view COVID because of its cost and risks are comparable to other health problems. Oh my God. So we're going to look at something that's a viral infection similar to cancer that kills 650,000 people a year. Did you know that there's a 40% decrease in heart attacks this year? I know COVID's amazing. Okay. They ended up dying of heart issues, but they also had COVID. So that was the causative factor. When we look at how your body responds to physical, chemical, emotional stress, bam, the digestion gets shut down. Bam, you got reproductive endocrine problems, because initially your adrenal glands start, and then those adrenal glands, okay, keep you alive under stress, and the cortisol is going to be produced by epinephrine, norepinephrine. Then you get this, because you've got an endocrine system and you've got a nervous system. The one structure that straddles both is the hypothalamus. And this is hugely important, because when we're talking about changing the frontal lobe, and this is anxiety, stress, and depression, when we're talking about changing the hippocampus, okay, and that is deep inside underneath the ventricles. You're looking at these structures in the brain can grow and shrink. You can build them or they can atrophy. And how do you do that? Is through stimulus. That's the key. I mean, once you get over the total psychosis of responding to something that is, hey, you have a 99.99% chance of surviving. Let's look at this. The kids, we now have the first generation who will not outlive their parents, according to the Academy of Pediatrics. We have 1 in 5 teens have a mental disorder, 37% drop out of school. We got 70% of our 18 to 24-year-olds that don't qualify for military service. If you have a kid and put them on antidepressants, within 5 years, they have a 50% chance of becoming bipolar. When we look at steroids, now steroids, think of this, because remember, we're talking about what is affecting the brain, what is causing brain damage. No, it's not CNN, but you're close. Okay, we're looking at medications and food, okay, and lack of stimulus. Because if these people, if you know that movement, symmetrical movement stimulates the cerebellum and that controls the frontal lobe, what are you doing? What are you doing this? You're straightening the neck. You're getting that tech neck. So let's say you get a drug that goes from rashes, lupus, asthma, allergies. I mean, this is a steroid, man. They got steroid creams for this, for God's sake. Suicidal behavior and severe neuropsychic disorders follow glucocorticosteroid therapy in primary care. Now, this was the American Journal of Psychiatry in 2012. So does this mean that suicide attempts, depression, mania, delirium, confusion, disoriented, and panic disorders can be linked to this? Yes or yes? Absolutely. When we look at glucocorticosteroids act on the hippocampus, amygdala, and frontal lobes. These drugs, now remember, you have a symptom of a rash or asthma or something, and you're given a drug to suppress the symptom. Is anyone in here suffering from a lack of steroids? No. Okay. Now the real doctors, and I'm talking when the system completely crashes and then you're responsible for your own health. Okay, and granted, it's a fantasy. Okay, but when you look at this, if you are responsible for your health, when you look at a rash, you're going to look at what's your gut like, what's your toxic level like. You're not just going to take this. If you have allergies, you're going to find out about a leaky gut, how to heal the gut, how to desensitize yourself. Estrogens, steroid hormones, particularly estrogens and glucocorticoids, may play a role in pathogenesis of neurodegenerative disorders. And this is huge. When you look at MSG, an excitotoxin, this damages the brain. And this is hidden in a lot of packaged foods. Trends in suicidal behavior among high school students. I just saw another report. I mean, I don't keep track of the kids that are committing suicide because they miss their friends, but I know for a fact at least 4 or 5 have that I'm aware of. But before this, trends were skyrocketing. So right now, if you are anxiety, stress, and depression, and I'm telling you, I had a 52-year-old gal who's working at home. She misses her friends. She came in here to get adjusted, and she said, oh my God, to see people without a mask, to be close to people, to have them come up and hug me. I mean, she was in there, she's crying, she's going, thank you for this. And I said, hon, you don't even need to come in to get adjusted. Come in, get some water, hang out in the back, just hang out and just be with people. And she was overjoyed. But understand, this is anybody right now. So please, if you have anxiety or stress and you don't have a friend to call, or you do and you don't think they're going to hear you, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. So anxiety, stress, and depression. There's a way to pull out of it, but don't play with that. Realize that there is a pharmacotherapy that I support. It's endogenous. You make your own chemicals. You make your own joy. You make your joy hormones, okay? You also can make your own stress hormones. So based on the stimulus, and this is amazing, striking ability of environmental enrichment and physical exercise to empower the adult brain plasticity. That means if you exercise, and I mean walk every day. I've got a number of patients that can't even walk, so what do? We have them swing their legs. If they can't swing their legs or they're missing their legs, we have them move their arms. And if they can't move their arms, then they have somebody else do it, because even if somebody is passively opening and closing those joints in a cross-crawl fashion, you're going to get healthy movements of the brain or healthy activity of the brain. There's a way to do it. The key is, these are not diseases. They are adaptations. You got to respect the body.